Today we are going to do lesson 5.1 in your Voyages book. It's on page 110 and 111. It's the first section about identifying adjectives. So yesterday you should have watched the video that talks about what an adjective is. You've also done it a lot in your Simple Solution book, so it shouldn't be anything new, and I know you talked about it with Miss Myers last year. But adjectives are words that describe a noun, so they tell you how it looks, what it tastes like, what it sounds like, how it feels, or how it smells. So up at the top, they made a nice chart up here that has all of those different description words that you might use when you're talking about a noun. So up at the top, it says, an adjective tells more about a noun. Adjectives describe nouns. They can tell how something looks, tastes, sounds, feels, or smells. So adjectives help us to make our writing be more descriptive. So instead of saying, I have a cat, I can tell you what kind of cat I have. I have a brown cat. I have a brown soft cat. So instead of just telling you I have a cat, I told you what color my cat was and how my cat felt. So now in your head, when you picture my cat, you can picture a cat that's brown colored and has soft fur. So adjectives tell such things as the size, number, color, shape, and weight. The cactus has red flowers. So in the sentence, red is an adjective. It tells about the noun flowers. So I'm going to underline the noun, right? There's actually two nouns in the sentence, cactus and flowers. But cactus doesn't have an adjective on it. But then we see the word red, which is a color, and it tells us what kind of flowers there are. And then over here on the picture, you can see that there are red flowers on the cactus. So if there wasn't a picture there, you could picture something like this photo on the side in your brain about a cactus with red flowers. You could make that picture in your head. That's what adjectives help you do. Here are some other adjectives that we could use to describe a flower. So it could be a small flower, a beautiful flower, a round flower, a fragrant flower, a delicate flower, or a fresh flower. So all of those words could be adjectives that we add on to the noun flower. So what is the adjective in this sentence, the example underneath? So the cactus was in a large pot. Let's go through and find the nouns. Cactus is a noun, it's a person, place, or thing, and pot is a noun. We could also, if you're struggling, you could also get rid of the other parts of speech that we've already learned. So was is a verb, right? It's a verb of being. The is an article. A is an article. In is a preposition. We haven't really talked about that, but you know it's not describing anything. So the only word left is large. So if we look at large, does it tell us the size of something? Yes, it does. So it tells us that the pot is a large pot. So this pot right here is large. So be is the adjective in the sentence. Large. Whoops. You were right if you said be. The word large describes the noun pot. Large tells about the size of the pot. So the first exercise asks us to find the adjective that describes the underlined noun in each sentence. Deserts are dry areas. So areas is the noun, they underlined it for us. So which word in that sentence helps us know what kind or describes the areas? What kind of areas are there? There's dry areas. Deserts are dry areas. Number 2, deserts usually have, hot days. What kind of days do deserts usually have? They have hot days. It tells us what kind of day or what temperature of the day. Cold nights, however, follow them. So what kind of nights? The nights are cold. The adjective tells us how the nights feel. Deserts are difficult places to live because of the lack of water. So deserts are places. What kind of places? They're difficult places to live, so it's not easy to live in a desert. Animals in the desert are usually small creatures. So what kind of creatures are they? They're small creatures. Tells us the size. Colorful flowers bloom quickly after rains. So the flowers are colorful. Tells us what they look like, what color the flowers are. Then for exercise 2, we have to add an adjective to describe each noun. Choose a word from the word box. So it gives us the word broken, pretty, funny, sad, good, soft, happy, spicy, heavy, tired, loud, warm. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different adjectives. And there's only 8 boxes, which means we aren't going to use all of them. And it also means that some of the words might fit for more than one example. So number 1 says the blank girl. So look through the adjectives and find one that you think would fit well in that sentence. I'm going to say that the girl is happy. The happy girl. So now if I was writing a story about this girl, you would know that the girl in my story feels happy. So you can picture a girl maybe with a smile on her face, or you know that she's not going to be upset about something when you're reading my story. A blank joke. What kind of joke would I have? I'm going to say a funny joke, because usually jokes make you laugh. A blank backpack. I'm going to pick heavy, but you could also have a broken backpack. Maybe the strap broke on your backpack. Or maybe it's a soft backpack. Maybe it has fur on the front of it. So there's more than one option for a lot of these. The blank window. I'm going to say that the window is broken. So then you could picture my window in my story as having a crack in it maybe, so that you know that my window is not perfect. Number 5, a blank blanket. I'm not going to pick spicy because I don't eat blankets. I'm not going to say loud because blankets usually don't make any noise. So I need to find an adjective that would help me describe what a blanket would be. I'm going to pick soft because usually blankets are soft. What kind of coat? So you use coats to keep yourself warm, so I'm hoping my coat is a warm coat. The blank music. What kind of music? It could be pretty music, it could be sad music, it could be soft music, it could be loud music. I'm going to pick loud music. But you could have picked any of those other options and they would all make sense. As long as they make sense, then you wouldn't be wrong. And then what kind of food? I'm not going to say funny food because food isn't funny. I'm not going to say happy food because food doesn't have emotions. You don't have happy food and sad food. I can say spicy food. I could say good food, warm food. I could pick any of those. I don't see any other ones that would really fit. I'm going to say spicy food. Spicy food. All right, exercise 3 says find the adjective in each sentence. Tell the noun it describes. The cactus is an unusual plant. So I'm going to do it backwards from what they said in here. They said find the adjective and then tell the noun it describes. I think nouns are easier to find. So I'm going to go through and find the nouns. So plant is a noun. Cactus is a noun. Now, cactus doesn't have an adjective in front of it because it just has the word the in front of it. So I'm going to look at plant. Is there a word in front of plant that describes what kind of plant it is? Right there, unusual tells us what kind of plant, so it's not a plant you normally see. Number 2, cactuses have sharp spikes. So cactuses, again, is a noun, and spikes is a noun. So cactuses has nothing in front of it, so it can't have an adjective in front of it. Spikes can tell me, sharp tells me what kind of spikes there are. So they feel sharp. If I touch the spikes, it's going to hurt. Number 3, the spikes are good protection against animals. So spikes again, protection, and animals are all nouns. The doesn't count. Good protection, that describes protection. So I'm going to highlight that as an adjective. Let's see against animals. What kind of animals? Against animals. So against doesn't work. It's not describing animals. So there's only one adjective that goes with a noun in that sentence. So not every noun in your sentence is always going to have an adjective with it. Cactuses can survive for long periods without water. So cactuses, periods, water. So cactuses has nothing in front of it. Long periods, does the word long describe what kind of periods there are? Yes, they're long periods. And then without water. Does without tell us what kind of water? No, it doesn't. So it doesn't, that one's not an adjective. The only adjective is long. Waxy stems help them hold in water. Stems is a noun. Water is a noun. So in front of stems is the word waxy. Does waxy tell us what kind of noun it is, or what kind of stems? Yeah, it tells us that the stems feel waxy. Does in count as an adjective? Does it tell us what kind of water? It doesn't really tell us what kind of water. So waxy is the only adjective. Then cactuses can produce sweet fruit. So cactuses and fruit are nouns. They're person, places, or things. And then cactuses doesn't have any words in front of it. Fruit has the word sweet. So does sweet tell us what kind of fruit it is? It does. It tells us that the fruit tastes sweet. So that's the adjective in that sentence. Now exercise 4 tells us to add an adjective before each noun. Use the kind of adjectives in parentheses. Use the chart on page 110 for help. So for number 1, we have to describe how the baby looks. So back on this page, it has tired, huge, pink, happy. What could be a good word for the baby? How about babies sleep a lot, so tired, the tired baby. So if you pictured that in your head, you could picture a baby with their eyes closing because they're falling asleep. Then we have sandpaper, and they want us to tell how it feels. So over here in the feels, it could be rough, hard, oily, smooth. Well, if you've ever felt sandpaper, it doesn't feel oily or smooth. It feels like sand, and sand's kind of rough. So I'm going to say rough sandpaper. Then it wants us to say how the flower smells. So it could be smoky. Does it smell smoky? Does it smell fragrant? Does it smell stinky or fresh? So I don't think flowers usually smell stinky. I'm going to pick fresh. I could also pick fragrant because fragrant would work too. Flowers are fragrant as well. Then horn, so a car horn. Sounds. Is this car horn loud, quiet, silent, or musical? A A car horn is usually loud because it needs to be loud enough for other cars to hear it. And then how do you think the peach tastes? So it could taste sour, sweet, tasty, or bitter. Usually peaches aren't sour or bitter, so I'm going to pick sweet or tasty. I think peaches are very tasty, so I'm going to say tasty peach. Tasty peach. Okay, so tomorrow you're going to have to do the Voyages page in your book to practice writing and identifying and finding adjectives. So look at this video again tomorrow if you need help remembering how to find the adjectives. They usually come right before the noun that they're talking